Hello YouTube, today I'm going to be showing you how to get your 3x3 Rubik's Cube from this to this. So with the beginner's method that I will be teaching you, there are only 7 steps. Now, considering my 2x2 method was only 3 steps, that might seem a little long, but a lot of the steps but a couple of the steps don't even require algorithms, so it's not going to be that. So you won't have to memorize too much to learn this. Plus, if you know some of the algorithms from the 2x2 tutorial, you will be using those on this cube as well. So again, the first step is getting a cross. Now a cross on the cube is where you match up all the colors, like here to here. So essentially, you get the edge pieces that belong between all of these centers, so these 4 right here. Now I will show you how to get this cross from a scrambled cube. So what you're first going to want to do is look for the cross piece that you're first going to insert. So like, I would look for the white and orange edge piece. So let's look around the cube for the white and orange, and it's right here. And now what we're going to want to do is move it to the top. And we have to have the white facing up. So it's down here. All we have to do is move it to the top. And now we can align it with the orange. So those are matching up, and 1/4 of our cross is done. Next, let's just look for green and white. Green and white is right here, so what we can do is bring that up to the top layer, and we don't have to realign it just yet. We will realign it later. Next, let's look for blue and white. Blue and white is over here. We can just bring that up as well. And finally, we have red and white, and I can see it's right here. So this is kind of a special case. It's good that this came up. What we do is, even though it's already in the top layer, this is flipped wrong, so what we're going to do is move it out of the way, move the open slot up here, and move the other cross piece into place. So now what you're going to want to do is bring all your cross pieces down to the bottom like this with these double turns, so now they're all on the bottom. And now we're going to line up each color, or each piece with its color. So first let's do orange, match it up with the orange, bring it to the top. Next we can do blue, match it to the blue center, bring it to the top. Green center, bring it to the top. And finally we have the red center, red edge, bring it to the red center and move it to the top, and your cross is complete. So step 2 is inserting the corners, and it's not all the corners, it is only these 4 corners at the bottom here. So yeah, there's 4 corners, and they're going to be the corners that have white on them. So let's look for the white, red, and green corner. So we can bring the corner up over where it belongs, just like in my 2x2 method. And we can do R, and we can do right, up, right inverted, up inverted, right, up, right inverted, up inverted, right, up, right inverted, until it's in place. Next, we can go on to green, white, orange. We can see that it is right here. Again, we do right, up, right inverted, up inverted, right, up, right inverted, up inverted, right, up, right inverted. Next, on to orange, white, and blue. We can see the corners right here. Again, we do right, up, right inverted, up inverted, right, up, right inverted. Finally, onto blue, white, and red, the pieces right here. Right, up, right inverted, right, up, right inverted, up 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 inverted. And the piece is in place. So now we have all the corners in place, and we have kept our cross intact. So we basically have a little more than 1/3 of the cube complete. Now on to step 3. So step 3 is getting this middle layer completely finished just by inserting edges into where they belong. So what we're first going to do is look for the edge that we want to insert. In this case, let's look for the green and orange edge. And we can see it's right here, so that belongs down here. So what we're going to want to do is place the green part of the piece with the green center like this. So essentially, we could move it into place like that, but we can't do that because it would mess this up. So now we have to do an algorithm. The algorithm is very easy, don't worry. It goes like this. Up, right, up inverted, right inverted, up, inverted, front inverted, up, front. So that is the first algorithm. That you will use that if the piece lines up here and has to go into here. Sometimes, though, the edge will be flipped the other way, and you will have to put it in this way. And you'll have to line it up with the slot over here, or with the center over here. So there we do a different algorithm. This algorithm goes a little bit like this. Right, up inverted, right inverted, up inverted again, right, up inverted again, right inverted, up, and finally right, up, right inverted, and that puts the edge in its place. Next, let's move on to blue and red, and as we can see, the blue and red piece is in a different slot. It's in the green and red slot. It doesn't belong there. So what we can do is use either of the algorithms that we just learned, and we can just do that algorithm to get that edge out of its slot. So it will insert this edge right here into here, and we don't care about that. We'll fix it later, but it will bring this piece out. So let's do the algorithm. Up, right, up inverted, right inverted, up, inverted, front, up, front inverted. And as we can see, that brought the blue and red edge out. It's here, so we can line the edge up with its color, as you can see here. And we can do right, up inverted, right inverted, up inverted, right, up inverted again, right inverted, up, right inverted to get it into its place. And finally, we look for the red and green, edge piece, and we'll put it over whatever it lines up with. So here it is. It lines up with red. Again, we have this algorithm. Up, right, up inverted, right inverted, up inverted, front inverted, up, front inverted. Or front, sorry, not inverted. And as you can see, we have 2/3 of the cube done. We have the first layer, or we have the cross, the corners, and the edges. So first 2 layers. So now we're on the 4th step of solving the cube. What we're going to do is get all of these. We see that there's 4 yellow edges up here. What we want to do is get them all facing upwards, like these 2. But we want to flip these 2. So when you get to the last layer here, you will either have a centerpiece and no edges flip correctly. You can see that they're all facing down. Or you will have a line of edges where these 2 are facing the wrong way and these 2 are facing up, so we'd need to flip these 2. Or you will have an L shape, which means these 2 edges are facing correct and these 2 are wrong. And I forgot to mention, you could also have it where you skip this step and you have all of them, and you could have all of them oriented right away. So first, let's focus on if you have a center and no edges correctly oriented. This step only requires 1 algorithm, so let's get it out of the way right now. It's really short. It's only 6 moves. So what we're going to want to do, if we have none oriented, is we're going to want to hold it anywhere and do this algorithm. The algorithm is front, right inverted, up inverted, front inverted. And as you can see, that flipped 2 edges and it made the L shape. So next, if we have the L shape, what we can do is we can do the algorithm front, right inverted, up inverted, front inverted. And now you can see that left us with the line, and this is the final one. We can just do the algorithm again with the line facing sideways. Front, right inverted, up inverted, front inverted. And as you can see, that has oriented all of the edges. So the next step, I believe this is the 5th step, is getting all of these yellow corners facing up. We can see that these 2 are facing the wrong way, but these 2 are correct. Essentially, we're trying to get it to look like this. All the yellows are facing up. The step is exactly the same as how I taught it on the 2x2. What we're going to do is we're going to use this algorithm. I'm going to show it to you right away. You should remember this from the 2x2 tutorial. We're going to do this right inverted, up 2, right inverted. And if we just employ that in the correct way, we will solve the top eventually. So now I'm going to go over every single case once again, just like I did on 2x2. So if you have a case where none of the corners are facing up or yellow is facing up, like either this one or this one, what you're going to want to do is hold a corner, either this one or this one, with the yellow facing that away. So we can do it like this, and we can do the algorithm right inverted, up 2, right inverted. And that will leave you with 1 corner correctly oriented. So if there's 1 corner correctly oriented, we hold it in the same corner and do the algorithm right inverted, up 2, right inverted. So again, just like my 2x2 tutorial, if we have 2 corners facing up, we're going to put the corner in this slot right here in the bottom left slot and make it facing this way. And then we do the algorithm right inverted, up inverted, right 2, right inverted. And then it leaves us with a 1 case where we do the algorithm again, and we do the algorithm again. So that is how you solve OLL on the 3-bit. So that is how you orient the last layer on the 3x3. Now the second to last step involves yet another algorithm. It's not a long one. We already learned this one on the 2x2, so here's how it goes. Essentially what it does is switches 2 corners. So what we're going to want to do is look for 2 corners that match. Like right here, we can see that the reds are facing up, and then nowhere else it's not matching anywhere else. It's only matching here. So that means we need to switch these 2 corners. So what we're going to do is the algorithm, which we learned on the 2x2 tutorial, which is right inverted, front, right inverted, back to, right, front inverted, right inverted, back to, right to. And as you can see, that gets all the corners correct. So we can just line up the corners, and we can see all the corners are solved. And the only thing we need to do is edges. So sometimes when you're trying to get all the corners correctly, you will come across a case where none of the corners match up. So essentially, you don't know which one to switch. So what you're going to do in this case is just do the algorithm anywhere on the cube or anywhere on the last layer, and it will create 2 that are matching. So right inverted front, right inverted back to, right front inverted, right inverted back to, right to. And as you can see somewhere on here, it made these ones match. So again, we hold those 2 in the back, we put the ones that we need to switch in the front and do the algorithm, and all the corners are solved. And again, line up the corners, and now we're on to the final step, which is getting the edges correct. So the final step in solving the cube is permuting the final edges, or last edges. So essentially what we're going to do is learn this algorithm called a U permutation. And what a U permutation does is rotates this edge to here, or from this one to here, and this one goes to here. So it's in a little U kind of thing. So the algorithm goes like this. Front to, up inverted, left, right inverted, front to, left inverted, right inverted, up inverted, front to. As you can see, that rotated the edges to solve the cube. Sometimes you will have to do that algorithm twice, because one time we'll rotate them, but it won't rotate them far enough, so we have to do it again in order to solve the cube. And sometimes you'll come across a case where all 4 of the edges need to switch. So what we do in this case is we do the algorithm once, anywhere on the cube, and then we do it again. And that should solve the cube. Sometimes it can take up to 3 times of doing that correctly to solve the cube. So now I'll do one quick example solve just to show you everything we learned and make sure and try to help you follow along a little bit. So first we're going to do the cross, and what we do is we already got 2 cross edges lined up, so we move this one to the top, and then we move this one to the top. Then we bring them all to the bottom. We're going to match up the red right here, match up the orange in the back, match up the green is already matched up, and match up the blue. Next, on to corners, so we can insert all these corners with our RUR prime. Then we can do it again to get this corner into place. Whoops, it's not ready. And this corner into place. So now we have all the corners ready. So next, we're going to get the edges into place with an algorithm we learned earlier. And here's the special case like I talked about. We're going to do the algorithm. Whoops. And here's the special case that I talked about. We're going to do the algorithm. And now the piece came out, so we can do the algorithm again. And we can match up this edge because it needs to go in here. So do the algorithm again. And finally, we come across the last layer. And if you remember, we do front, RU, R prime, U prime, R prime, or U prime. Then we do it again because we have a line. And since we have a single corner facing up, we're going to hold it in this corner. We're going to do the algorithm. And we have a single corner again, so we do the algorithm again. Whoops, sorry. And it looks like we have the corners all correct, so skip that step. Now we're going to do that U-perm that we learned to rotate the corners, and we're done. So it's simple as that, guys. I really hope this tutorial helped you.